There are a few things that we think are absolutely vital if you're going to retire early, be retired, or just be happy for the rest of your life. And today, let's talk about one of them. Good day, family and friends. Welcome in. And today, we are going to talk about one of the most vital things we feel that you're going to need if you're going to retire early, or just retire happy in general. And what we are looking at is this is a core belief. We believe that you absolutely have to do it. And it is, you're going to need a way to generate income. You're going to need a way to generate some form of a revenue stream in your retirement. Now, I know that sounds kind of counterintuitive to retirement, but I'm not talking about making a whole new job for yourself or creating too much work. But are we really willing to just relegate ourselves to being at the mercy of those who pay us? Now, yes, the Social Security is going to be fine. You get your pensions or whatever your case may be, whatever your angle may be, and however you retired, great, great, great. It may be just a big inheritance. Who knows? Good for you. Fantastic if you have a plan. But do we really want to depend on just that? What happens if something goes wrong? What happens if that company goes bankrupt and can no longer pay out the pensions? Or what happens if something changed structurally in your life that you need more money and you need more money all the time? What happens if you just want to do more money than the allocation that you have already given to you? Let's say along the lines you develop four more grandchildren and you want to buy them all kind of junk. Well, let's say you may go and have two cars that break down and have to buy a brand new car when you're always used to buying used cars. Whatever the case may be. I mean, there's an endless array of things that could go wrong, right? Or go right. Either way, we want to be able to have the money to do the things that we want to do when we want to do them. And people all the time, you hear it all the time, my God, I'm on a fixed income. And you only hear this out of people who are usually, 70-year-old plus. But the thing about it is, I've always lived on a fixed income. I have been on a minimum wage. I have lived on a salary. I have done different kind of pay scales all through my life. But the truth of the matter is, you know what you're going to get, and you're going to get this at the end of the week. And this is how much you get paid. It's all a fixed income. But all of a sudden, whenever they start getting into your Social Security talk, whenever you start getting into this I don't work talk, all of a sudden fixed income takes on some kind of new meaning. So you've always had to budget your money. You've always had to focus on your, bills and all this ingoing and outgoing kind of revenue. But all of a sudden now it matters because you feel like there's no automatic paycheck, even though there's an automatic paycheck. But for me, I think we do not want to just live on what they give us. I think there's so many things that can come up in life and so many issues that may arise, hopefully all good, that you want to spend money on. You don't want to live your life just, taking a magnifying glass to the right side of the menu. Let's just forget about all that. So let's figure out a way to generate a little bit more income. And you see all these videos, you hear people talking about you need X amount of dollars to retire. You can take 7% of this or this or that. All that's just, it's good, I guess, for an outline, but you have such a vast cost. It may be the cost for you in Montana. It could be the cost for you in California, which I am sorry if it is. And it could be the cost for you just in Alabama or any other place around the world. Maybe you want to move to the Philippines, the Caribbean, but the costs are all over the place. So there's no way I think you could just look at it and say, well, if I get X amount of dollars and only take 7% out a year, I'm going to be good to go. Well, what happens if you live longer than you planned? What happens if you outlive your money? I mean, all these things are something we really need to consider. And for me, I just don't want to be relegated to, hey, this is what we're going to give you. So on here, obviously, we talk a lot of stock talk. We chose that the stock market is going to be the way we generate more revenue in our retirement. Then one day, whenever we actually get our Social Security and everything, we're going to use the stock market as a kind of an additional revenue stream. I know that people will scoff when they hear that, but that's the way it is. That's what it is. We're going to use the stock market as a way to generate more income, and and supplement our retirement. Now, there's a lot of things you can do. Maybe you have a piece of property. Maybe you own a couple houses. By the time that you retire, maybe you've had a house. You moved in with your girlfriend who became your wife, and now you have an extra house. You can use that as rental income. But in this day and age, in 2026, there is an endless, vast array of things that you can do with your talents that can generate money, that can help you have that revenue stream. Maybe you're a woodworker and you love to, get out there in your woodshed and make things out of wood. That's fantastic. Maybe you restore old furniture. I mean, you restore old cars. There's really just an array of things that you can do. Maybe you love to bake and you're just an absolutely great baker. Maybe there's a farmer's market in your area, like down in Florida on the 30A. Man, that farmer's market down there just gets slammed with people. Hey, maybe you could just join in something like that and enjoy one of your hobbies, make it into a hobbytunity, and then you can then have a revenue stream that's coming in, and you can scale that as much as you want. You can bake as much as you want or as little as you want, but it's just about not relying on one thing to take care of all of our problems. What we need is that revenue stream. We need it any way we do, but there's also something also preventing cash depletion from going on. It does other things. When you have that hobbytunity that you're using, or you're really into your passion that's now generating you a revenue stream, you prevent yourself from getting bored. You prevent yourself from that aloneness or that depression and all these types of things that can set in when you're by yourself. And people are like, hey, I like being by myself. Well, I understand, but that's in a scale. I mean, think about how they break down the hardened prisoners in prison. They put them in solitary confinement. So you don't want to be by yourself all the time alone. You don't want to be by yourself in isolation all the time. So what a great way to get your mind always working on something and bringing in a little bit of cash. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. And like I say, you can scale that to whatever you need. But it's best not to just say, well, this formula that I figured out is going to be the answer for the next 30, 40 years of my life. I mean, if you live to 90 to 100, you probably should have a plan for that. I mean, what happens if you live that long? Are you going to have enough money to scale with you? Are you then going to have to really scale down and be eating beans and rice at the end of your life? Nobody wants that nonsense going on. We should be able to flourish the more years that we live. We should be able to enjoy the years once we regain our time from working and the job that's been taking all of our time. No offense, job, you were very, very useful. But once we regain all of our time, we need a way to then fill that void. And we need more than just a time void. We need, the interaction void, the person to person kind of interaction. We need that idle hands or the devil's workshop. We need those to busy. We need our minds working. We need to be doing something. And if we're going to be doing something, we may as well be doing something that makes us money. So let's just be clear. Start thinking in that line. This is just a brief synopsis of our plan and our attack that we do and recommend highly for you. Of course, this isn't financial advice, and we're not trying to tell you what to do financially because, hey, we're not financial advisors. We're just talking about strategies, structures, things that can happen, different ways that might help out and be good for retirement. So let's think about that. Is there an opportunity there in our life? I mean, is there something, whatever talent you have, I promise you, there is something that you can do to generate money. It may be something on the internet. It may be something, like I say, that you do out in the back in your woodshed that you've done for years and love. Whatever the case, maybe you're a gardener. My goodness, gardeners, they are, people love gardeners to help them with their gardens and flowers and everything else. And so, I mean, maybe you even just start yourself a YouTube video. I mean, why not? Let's go. Get a YouTube channel, do something, just put it out there, start generating yourself some revenue, start getting yourself, your mind working, your hands working, and let's make a little bit more money so we don't really have to do long algebraic equations to figure out if we're going to die broke. So let's just be honest. Let's get out there. Let's get some money. Let's get it taken care of. And if you haven't started thinking about retirement and retiring early, why not? You shouldn't put a limitation, or somebody shouldn't tell you when you're allowed to quit working. You're allowed to quit working anytime you want, but understand there's repercussions with that. And this is the perfect thing that goes into that. You have your nice savings built up. You have your emergency fund built up. Now you have your hobbytunity ready to go, and you're ready for action. Hey, you know what? Pull the cord. Let's go. Just let's get out there and do it. Get to retiring, get to enjoying life, capturing the time that has been lost so many times so long ago. So I thank you for coming in today. I invite you to stop back next time, like and subscribe to the channel, all that. But most of all, do well in planning for your early retirement, and we wish you the best. Have a great day.